Just look at this thing. I mean, really look at it. It's all angry and bold. Who would be so brave as to put such a thing on the market? Okay, you can see it's a Hyundai. It is in fact a Hyundai Sonata N-Line. Now I know what you're thinking. Only old people and the cops buy the Sonata, and until recently you were right. Now if you've been keeping an eye on carsguide.com.au or the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, bell, you know what to do, you'll know that this is the second warm performance sedan of 2021 from the Korean company. Now Hyundai have had a bit of a change in direction with their cars. They're thinking not everyone wants an SUV. So this car, like the i30 N-Line before it, is there to tempt people who walk into a dealership and go, I don't want an SUV. Is this the car to do it? Let's find out. As you can see, this video is chopped up into 8 different sections. You've got all the time codes here, and if you're on YouTube, you've got all those clever chapter markers down below. So if you're already sick of the sight of me, you can either pick a time and jump through, or hit a chapter marker. And of course, before you do anything, click subscribe, click like, click the bell button. So there's just one Sonata available, the N-Line, and it's $59.90 plus on roads. That's a big wad of cash, but look around and you'll find it's a pretty competitive price for quite a lot of car. It comes with the lovely big 10.25-inch screen with sat-nav, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 12.3-inch digital dash, Napa leather interior, cameras everywhere, lots of luxury bits and pieces, Bose speakers, wireless charging and lots more besides. These are the sorts of things I cover in a lot more depth in the written review. Check it out via the link on your screen or in the description below. Right, time to talk about how it looks. Now, if you've been out on the road recently, you'll know big grills are in. Audi, BMW, everyone's gone big. So is Hyundai. Look at this, nice big mesh black grille. Kind of looks like someone's shouted, put your lips together and blow. That's what it looks like to me. Anyway, you know it's a Hyundai and you know it's an N-Line. Big headlights, they're not in. Hyundai doesn't care. Big headlights. What I really love about this though is this. It looks like a chrome strip to you because it goes all the way along the car. But in fact, this bit is an LED light, and it's a driving light. It looks amazing. It's such a cool piece of design. I love it. You are not going to mistake this for any other kind of car. So the front, it's a big start, and then you get around the side, it all kind of calms down a bit. That's okay. You can still tell it's an N-Line. You've got the fake aero vents at the front here, 19-inch alloy wheels, quite good tyres, N-Line here. The chrome strip goes all the way along the car, loops around. It's like a lasso. You're pulling the traffic in, something, I don't know. Black mirror caps, N-Line badge. You've got this very cool, very racy looking sill extension actually. It may actually do something, who knows. Bit more fake aero back here, but then there's a big finish around the back. Let's have a look. I mean, this is cool. I mean, big Sonata badge, big Hyundai badge, but what I like is this. It's a bit Porsche actually, except the lights in a Porsche are up here rather than down here. This is obviously a little plastic wing. You've got these aero strakes on the top here, or aero devices as they like to call them. Blacked out apron, blacked out diffuser and quad exhaust, because what sporty car doesn't come with quad exhaust, eh? They're not real, but they're there. Overall, I think it's a great piece of design. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. Grab your eye as you're being dragged across the showroom to look at a Santa Fe that's too big or you just don't want it. Now, before we go and look at the interior, it's time for a subliminal message. Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Comment. Click the bell icon so that you get a message every time a video goes up. Now, Hyundai interiors have taken a big step up in the last couple of years, and the Sonata is yet another cracker. Great big screen, really cool new software on it. It's really, really nice. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless charging, 2 USB ports. Very important if there's 2 of you in the car. You can even have an extra phone sitting there. Isn't that a little bit of magic? There's also a 12-volt port in there. I don't know who still uses 12-volt ports, but please stop because the plugs are always ugly. This is the selector, so instead of having a big stick and getting in the way of things, you've just got this button layout, which I think is also in the Santa Fe. 2 cup holders. Now these are different sizes, so if you like smaller cups, that one goes there, larger cups go there, and you can even clean them when you spill it, because no journalist ever spills coffee in a car. This is also quite big. You're not going to fit anything massive in there, but it's a good size to put phones and things away if you want to lock the car up and leave things in there. Not sure about this steering wheel. Looks a little bit surprised to be here, a bit kind of, but that's okay, that's subjective. It's very nice to use though. You got your paddles here because it is a sporty car, and a full digital dashboard. So you've actually got two big screens here in front of you, plus a heads-up display. So it's all happening in here. This car is absolutely stuffed with gear. Of course, you've got dual zone climate control as well to keep things cool. And I've got to say, these seats are fantastic. I did spend a lot of time in this car and I did a lot of miles, quick miles, and it holds you in because it's got the nice Alcantara inserts where you're actually, sitting on it. The bolsters are good, but you don't have to be really skinny to fit in them. It's really, really comfortable. The only thing you should probably worry about is because they've all got a sunroof, the headroom isn't massive. But apart from that, it's a terrific interior. Back here, tons of room. I'm sitting behind where I drive. I'm just under 6 feet tall, like millimeters under 6 feet tall, and I have got acres of room. There's good foot room too, so you can get your feet under there for a little extra space. And it's a really comfortable seat actually. It's really well shaped, and very rarely you can actually sit in the middle seat and not be too cramped. I mean, it's not a massive car, but you can fit people here in the middle. You're very well looked after back here. You've got an armrest with cup holders. You do have pockets in the doors. I think you could squeeze a half-litre bottle in there, but that's about it. But it's not like you want your backseat passengers quaffing water the whole time. You just have to stop a lot. You've got a USB port there, vents, very nice. And they've even got seat heaters on these outboard seats. So it's very comfortable back here for rear seat passengers. And even though it's got a swoopy roofline, the headroom's not bad at all. Remember how sedans have boots? This one's got a boot, and it's a big one too. How cool is this? It doesn't look like a button, but it's a button. Anyway, in here, 510 litres. That's a lot of space, and it's useful space too. It isn't full of wheel arches and things like that. There is a 60/40 split fold seat, but the gap isn't very big to get things through, so don't get too ambitious at IKEA. The floor is also quite a bit lower than the loading lip, so you do have to haul things over. It's just something to think about. It's not a big deal. I like a good boot. The Sonata is absolutely packed with safety features. Along with 6 airbags, ABS and stability and traction controls, you get blind spot monitoring, blind spot collision avoidance, reverse cross traffic alert, reverse AEB, lane keep assist, lane following assist, lane departure warning, forward AEB up to 80 k's, forward collision warning up to 180 k's, safe exit assist to stop you from dooring cyclists, junction assist, front, side and reversing cameras, and the very clever blind spot view monitor that pops up in the dash to show you the side of the car matching which indicator you've got on. Whew. There are also 2 ISOFIX points and 3 top tether anchors. At the time of filming, there wasn't an ANCAP safety score or a Euro NCAP score, and there probably won't ever be one. I don't think the engine guys got the memo about N-line. N-line means warm. This engine, not warm, hot. 213 kilowatts, 422 newton meters of torque from a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. That is a lot of power and torque. Thankfully, it's hooked up to Hyundai's brand new 8-speed twin clutch, and they're wet clutches rather than the old dry clutches, which means it's much smoother and much better than the old 7-speed twin clutch. It's a really good engine. It's quiet, it's composed, and it suits this car really, really well. There's just one engine, so there's just one official combined cycle fuel figure, 8.1 litres per 100 kilometres. When I tested this car, it was out in the country and it was a lot of fun. We're filming this video at a different time, and despite some fairly enthusiastic going and stopping and going again, the car I drove registered 9.8 litres per 100 kilometres in the dash. You and I both know we can do better than that. Next up, ownership. Service intervals are 12 months or 10,000 kilometres, which is kind of annoying, but that's what you get for having a turbo engine. The first 5 services are all capped at $350, which isn't too bad as long as you're not a high miler. Be sure to hit that pop out at the top of your screen to read my full detailed review for all the details on servicing costs and stuff like that. Now it's time to show you how it drives. Now there's something you need to know about the Sonata. It's had a little secret now for quite some time. The last generation, the 7th, was quick. It didn't look it. It looked like an old man car, and those were the people that used to buy those things. Old men, mostly. And people would look at it and go, oh, you've got a Sonata, but it had a turbo engine and it went like stink. So this one has got even more power, more torque, more gears. So all of those are a good thing in anyone's book, because lots of power and lots of torque is a good thing. More gears to harness that power is also a good thing. Now, let's talk about the gearbox first. It's the 8-speed wet clutch from Hyundai Kia. So it's already in Santa Fe, it's in Sorento, and it is excellent. It's actually the kind of twin clutch transmission you have to check whether it is actually a twin clutch transmission. It's very smooth and handles the power really well, which is a good sign for some other Hyundai product like the Kona N and the i30N, which will have the same transmission. So it seems like this is quite a versatile thing and it feels really good. Now the engine, there are very few Hyundais that sound good because there's only so much you can do with a turbo 4-cylinder without going completely bonkers like AMG does. So, and given the type of car that this is, there's no point in going poppity bang. So there's no poppity bang. It's an N line, it's not an N. Having said that, it's got a ton of power and hardly any lag. This is like, that is a really, just like that, off we go. That's a really big achievement because the old engine was a bit laggy, but this newer, I think it's called Smart Stream, which kind of sounds like something to fix a urinary tract infection, but we won't go into that. It's really strong. It's got a great big fat torque curve. It's really easy to drive in any condition. So it's really nice around town because you can just surf along on the torque and the gearbox is doing all the right things. Just a little flex of the right foot and you're off. And you don't even have to be in sport mode or whatever. The engine is really responsive and really good. Now, it's front wheel drive. And I know that the keener drivers among you are saying, well, all that torque through just the front wheels in a Hyundai, you gotta be kidding. I thought that. I thought this was going to be a bit of a torque steering monster, and amazingly, without any sort of major trickery, there's no torque steer. It copes with the power really, really well. And so I've been out in B roads, out near Bathurst and Oberon and all through, there's some fantastic roads through there, and try as I might, I could not get it to misbehave too much. I mean, if you're driving like an idiot, you can always get a car to misbehave, but this car, it doesn't misbehave. Even with a full throttle, with plenty of lock, it is really, it's quite something. It's quite an achievement. Now, this car doesn't have a particular Australian tune to it. Obviously, being an N-line, there's some work done, there's different dampers, there's different bits and pieces through the car. What they add up to is a car that still rides really well. There's no electronic damping or anything like that. It rides really well, but it handles really well too. No, it's not like a rear-wheel drive Sportster like another Korean, but it's really good fun to drive. It's really enjoyable, and I had a great deal of fun in it. But at the same time, when you get it back to normal city roads, it's very, very comfortable. So I'm quite impressed with this car. And the great tragedy about it is that it's going to be overlooked by people in dealerships. But the reason it looks the way it does, and the reason it is just one model now, is to attract those who go in to a dealership, look at an SUV and go, actually, I just can't. What can I have instead? I want something sporty. I want something big enough for the kids. I want something that's got all this room for my stuff. That's what Hyundai's done. And, you know, the Sonata name's not going to help, but I think you can forget all that. It's such a good car. It looks great. It drives really well. It's quiet when you want it to be. It's fun and feisty when you want it to be. There's very little to complain about in this car. The Sonata nameplate is hardly a pulse racer. Hyundai is quite aware of that. You can stick an angry name on a car, it doesn't make it sell. What you got to do is make a car that does what it says on the tin. N-line is what it says on the tin, N-line is what it is. It's quick, it's powerful, but it's also quiet. You can fit lots of people and stuff in it. It does what it's supposed to do. Gives you an alternative to the SUV. Now, for the final time, I'm going to tell you, if you want to read my full detailed review, go to carsguide.com.au, and before you go, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button and hit the bell button.